right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I want to go ahead and answer this. And I'm not dodging anything. It's just that many times it takes me some time to be able to answer a lot of questions. And now I'm learning that I have to selectively pick and choose the questions that I actually want to answer, because some of them are laced with an undertone. Some of them are not even asked with the intent to want to be informed or to be educated. And many of them are just questions of attack. But whenever I can discern and see that a question is really, truly wanting to be answered from the heart, then I'll go ahead and answer for the edification and exhortation and the comfort of the Spirit of the truth for those who possess and have it. and of course, they want to know how I started preaching on the subject of polygyny, or commonly called polygamy. Well, I've never ever really truly even thought about the subject much. And when the question did come to me, when it was presented to me, I think the first time it was presented to me was in like 1998. Somebody asked me what was my thoughts on polygamy. Of course, what I said then was, I said, I don't have any particular thoughts on it. And they said, well, what do you believe about it? Do you believe that it's lawful and biblical? And at the time I said, yeah, I believe it's lawful and biblical, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to pick up the Bible. If anyone was to pick up the Bible, it's hard to not see that the Hebrew patriarchs, Abraham, Jacob, Moses, David, Solomon, Gideon, you go on and on and on. Excuse me. It's obvious that they were what you commonly call polygamists, or they had multiple wives. And that's about as far as it went. So after moving to the region that I live in now, all of a sudden, you have to understand when you're different than other people. And I'm going to tell you the reason why we're different. We're different because I choose to obey what this book says. Most people, they have a religion, and then they cherry pick what they personally want to pick and choose to exalt from this book right here, like the Baptist, whatever flavor it is, the Church of Christ, Pentecostal, Apostolics, and then they exalt certain scriptures out of this, and that's what their whole doctrine is based out of. Well, I come to find out that this is a history book of my ancient people. And, discovering my heritage, I actually, from the very beginning, especially after being filled with the Ruach, I really started taking this book serious. But anyway, I'm up here. I'm in a region, in a country I really don't know too much about. And next thing you know, people will get on these social media forums and stuff, and they would accuse me of having multiple wives. And of course, I didn't pay no attention to it or anything like that. I just continue to keep on living. And then the question was brought to me again, right here in my own living room. And they asked me about it. I said, again, I still kept the same sentiments. I said, it's obvious that if you're a student of this book right here, you can't argue with the fact. And then also, not only did I read the Bible, but I read Josephus and stuff, where it was just culture, Hebrew culture. It was Hebrew culture during the time of Christ, and his family was even polygynous. And then it was the culture after Christ. It was just Hebrew Israelite culture, period. You can't argue with it. Well, somebody asked me, and I told him, I said, we may not like it. And at the time, that's what I said, but you can't argue with it from a biblical perspective point of view. You can argue with it from your own mind. You can come up with some type of theological rhetoric. Is it God's permissive will, or is it the perfect will? You come up with a bunch of sideshows, and that's the same spirit that the Christians use when trying to debunk the Sabbath day. Now, is the Bible clear on the Sabbath? Yes or no? It's clear that the seventh day is the Sabbath, and it ain't Sunday. And nor did he tell us we could pick and choose any day we want to rest. He gave us specific details on how to rest. And those who oppose polygyny, they do the same thing as the Christians do because of the visceral, because of the hate and the emotion that's tied into it. So they come up with these nonsensical, idiotic, stupid, illogical arguments, and they make up stuff. Christian theology, is it permission will? Is it perfect will? It's crazy. I tell you what, when the Father speaks, that's his perfect will, period. When the Eternal gives a word, that's his perfect will, regardless of whether you can put it together or not. You know, when Hagar had left Abraham because of the contention over a child being born between Sarai and Hagar, you know what the Father did? The Eternal told her, go back. And so if Abraham having more than one wife, more than one consort, or more than one woman was a sin, would the Eternal send her back? No, he wouldn't have sent her back. So you see, what it is that we have been immersed in a hypocritical Gentile culture of today. And then these hypocrites, they have cultural biases, religious biases, and they like to interject and insert what they believe to be Yah's perfect will rather than reading exactly from the text what it says. Now you get into the proper methods and modes of interpretation. And so, I had people just flat out even then telling me, when I'm having a discussion with someone, and if someone is being disagreeable with me, that's fine. If you're being objectively disagreeable with me, that's fine too. But when you're sitting up here disagreeing with me and you're telling me what you're going to do, and you are in total opposition of what Yah says simply because of your own feelings, your own emotions, or your own personal opinions, that's when I start taking it personally, because you're not coming against me. And I'm set for the defense of this word, for this gospel. And pretty much they was giving idle threats. Well, I won't be around here no more, because I told them there's the door right there. You don't have to wait till I start talking about this. I already told you what my sentiments were. You can go ahead and hit the door right now. And see, and this is the problem that we're having today, is that people love giving forth their opinion and exalting it above the written word. These hypocrites today, they say they believe the word, but they really, truly don't believe the word. They believe in their own book of the law. They believe in their own religion. And the reason why they believe in those things that way is because anytime you make an agreement with something, be it true or false, it becomes the truth to you. But notice, it is your own truth. So I've over the years have made sure that I did not insert my own personal biases. I'm not a bigot like a lot of these other people out here who practice bigotry. I believe the Bible says what it means, and it means what it says, and it defines itself, period. So we're in a European culture that exalts monolygamy, and I might ask, how is monolygamy working for you out there? They're not working too good with a 70% divorce rate and a bunch of refugees all over the place, and then women not being covered. Isn't that something? But anyway, so people ask me about it, and so I got accused and all this other stuff. So then I was in Sabbath service one day. And I started out of the blue, out of nowhere, somewhere along in 2012, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, I started talking about the wives of the patriarchs. And man, when I saw the kickback spiritually that came from a bunch of women in that congregation, of course, you know what I did? I doubled down. Dug my heels in, and set my face a flint and went in even harder. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to study this thing. Now, if I'm wrong, I've been wrong plenty of times before in the past, but I've also been able to correct my wrongs and make them right. I got rid of wrongs and started walking right and doing right. And so I started studying the thing. And I told the people that, I said, give me some time. I'm going to research this subject from a biblical perspective. And that's the way, that's the first thing that I do whenever I'm doing a subject. Any subject that I want to know the truth about, I go directly to the Bible to see what the mind of the Father is first. I don't go read a commentary or what some man says. I don't go read. Somebody say, well, in the Bible, written by a man. Yeah, men who are inspired. There's a difference. Prophets who heard directly from the Father. Moses, the Torah, or if given to him from the Father. There's a difference. Most of these men today are vainly puffed up in the spirit of their mind, and most of you put a lot of exhortation and you exalt education, because people go to a theological cemetery and get dumbed down to an unprecedented level. And you know what's totally amazing me is that I've got doctors, I got people that's graduated seminary, professors. They all call me. I have military chaplains. They all call me for answers from this book right here. And what do? I don't give them my personal biases opinion. I give them and lead them directly what the word says. They ask me a question, oh, what does the word say? I don't have anything to insert in it. So I told them, give me a little bit of time to study this thing out. And when I do come out with it, I promise you one thing, it's going to be the truth. And you know what? It took me every bit. I think I started inserting comments after 3 years. In other words, I studied this thing for 3 years before I even mentioned. It wasn't until the 4th year I actually started teaching on it. So I set myself aside for 4 solid years before I really start coming out and start teaching what this book says. See, unlike many of you hear things. As soon as you don't like it, your emotion is involved. You don't care nothing about what the truth is except the truth that you make and the truth you accept. See, I can't have brothers and sisters like that around me. Because I'm not here to have you to be some type of god or demagogue. You can forget that. And so I started preaching and teaching what the book says. Of course, then you saw, if you want to call it the debate, you saw the bloodletting that I did with this ignorant man called Roberts. It was just so, I feel sorry for the people, because mental illness and spiritual retardation is something that nobody can do nothing about, and besides being full of demons. Who would have thought that this subject would actually you could actually see someone right there during this debate blaspheme the Holy Spirit, curse out Yah, call all the patriarchs from Abraham all the way down to all the prophets of Israel weak, sorry men, and then exalt this old, battered, beat up woman that he calls a wife as a god. It's off the chain. And you know what? And they use this book. Now they use the book because what they do is they turn around. All these people they so-called Hebrews, but they speak all this English. And then they depend on the definition of the English words in order to try to define Hebrew script. It's utter confusion. So anyway, let me get back on this. So anyway, you saw the bloodletting I gave them. And of course, now that thing already has 10,000 hits plus. Total together, it's probably got, I think 17,000 hits already. And you know what people are doing, right? Because most people are men, especially who ministers, they're afraid of the backlash that they're going to get if they promote the truth. And I'm going to say it again. It's amazing how we know the truth about the Sabbath, and we can defend that easily against, the onslaught of Christian lies. But then when it comes to the actual biblical subjects of a man having multiple wives, the people who claim to know the truth, they do the exact same thing as the Christians do with the Sabbath. Then they come up with all these nonsensical, ignorant and unlearned questions in order to try to distort what the truth is, even though you can't do it. You just can't do it. Yah's made his will known. So anyway, when I started preaching and teaching on this, now all of a sudden, if people already run it, they're already looking for holes to go run and dive in. Because I was surprised that even this guy would even take me up on it, because I've had people call here to this number talking about, you tell Pastor Dow, I'll take them up on it. And then after they listen to what I have to say and stuff, they all back out. They all go away, and they go away quiet. You know why? Because this is a subject that is, I don't know why it's so emotionally charged and involved, but it's something that these emasculated, these effeminate men, that they refuse to stand on Yah's word. They say they have the spirit of truth. And I know the reason why they refuse to stand on Yah's word, because they're afraid of the women. That's the reason why. And so you're going to find out what a man is, who a man is. You know, there's a guy by the name of Ringo. I think Ringo put on TV, Ringo TV. He was one of the first ones to do a debate analysis. He's the first one to actually come out with a video on it. He saw it. And he just actually gave a straight up sound answer. Of course, many of you may not like the way he speaks in his platform, because, you know, our America is, right? We have clean mouths, but our lies are filthy. It's amazing. So I stand on y'all's truth. I don't care how popular or unpopular that truth is. I'm standing on it no matter what. I don't care what the world says. I don't care what religion says. Now, guess what? Nobody's mocking. Nobody's trying to rock Pastor Dow or anybody on their heels, because, again, I want y'all to listen to me. I dare anybody out there who opposes the truth of biblical polygyny to have a, let's try this and try to be intelligent, to have a very civil, intelligent, I know that's hard for many people to do, discussion and debate on this. Because we saw what the last pig did. We saw what that last big old pig did during the debate. Everybody gets so emotionally charged and stuff. And of course, he results to trying to make personal attacks. Now, it wasn't personal to me. He could say whatever he wants. It wasn't personal to me, because everything that he said about me was a lie. So therefore, I didn't take it personally. When he lied on my family, and he did that, I said a few words to him off camera, because I knew what that spirit was trying to do. That spirit was trying to get me to act the way it act. That's what they try to do, and try to get people off of the subject. And of course, he talking about, I'm not going to entertain anything. You saw what the zenith of somebody demonically inspired and influenced. You saw what they act like. All right. So I stayed the course, and I was commended cross culture all over the place from everybody about how I handle myself, and how that they thank Yah that I didn't take the bait. And I didn't. So, you know, there's never, and that's one thing I want to teach y'all, is never a personal attack if what the attacker is saying is not true. You just have to be able to grow in maturity and realize that. All right. And then it won't affect you. All right. Now, most people, you know, they still have some growth to go. But when I say something, it's going to be facts. And I'll say it again. You got a lot of people out here, and notice all of a sudden people are doing debate talks, and then you got people having their own discussions. They're making hundreds of videos on this now, but nobody is going to debate. I'm going to put two people out there. Nobody's going to debate Pastor Dow, and nobody's going to debate Dr. William Luck on this subject right here. They'll do a bunch of talking. They'll do a bunch of videos, but they will not debate this subject. You know the reason why? Because they're liars. It's like the Christians. You're using our book, and you're trying to tell us what this book says, when you have spent the majority of your existence lying on this book and practicing replacement theology as if you're the people. Come to find out you ain't the people at all. And you're given a book to suit your personal lifestyle and religion, and now the gig is up. So yeah, people try to rock me on the heels and stuff. Now people are scurrying and running for holes. There's not too many people, and I mean, especially women. Boy, they really got their opinions on this, and this is the time that they should actually be quiet. They should. Again, you're supposed to be led by the spirit of truth and not by emotion. And so don't hold your breath. I don't think that we're going to have too many people intelligently discussing this. Now, there are a couple of authors out there that have, I mean, big, thick books against it and stuff. And what do they use? Logic and reason. They don't use truth. They use logic and reason. And I would love to be able to have an intelligent discussion on this, but I'm not holding my breath. The bottom line is that biblical marriage is true. It's Hebrew culture. I don't expect anybody of another nation to comprehend this. It's not for you. Just like the commandments is not for you. Now, you may try to keep some of them, but if you're not of an Israelite of the Hebrew nation, you're not going to keep these commandments. You're going to do the same thing that all cultures do, be they Africans, Europeans, Asians, Asiatics, people. They're going to do everything they can to try to make this Bible say what they want it to say rather than obeying it. Well, that's where we're at now. And so now the question comes, Pastor Dow, how many wives do you have? I got 50 of them. I'm working on 100. And if I can get 200, I'll probably be content right now. You know, at 50 years old, man, I think my limit is 200. I really, truly do. So now, if you don't like that, none of my business. The truth is, anybody who actually does the biblical Hebrew lifestyle, they do the same thing that people out here in monolygamy do. They just live it. You don't go out there and parade and debate on marriage, do you? No, you don't. So anybody who lives the biblical Hebrew lifestyle, why even debate it? We already know what the truth is, but what's disturbing to me is that you accept homosexuality even to the point of a gag order, even if the pagan Supreme Court says it's law, and you better shut your mouth. You better not even debate this subject. So you say you're a believer, but you're mute and silent concerning all these abominations that the Bible says. You're all a bunch of cowards. That's what you are, a bunch of spiritual cowards and natural cowards. And so I'm putting it out here again. I don't want ignorant people. No. I am a leader of a pretty nice assembly scattered throughout not only the United States but the world. And if I'm going to debate someone, it's not going to be a person on the side. It's going to be your leader. Leader on leader. That's how we do this. That's how you do it. You know, in the old days, it'd have been nice if we could settle war like David and Goliath, huh? That's when David was already exercising his kingship. You see, monolygamy is a Goliath. And I'm David. And I'm coming not with a bunch of armor, I'm coming with the word of the Most High, and I'm going to beat down every lying Goliath. So monolygamy only is a lie. You can't defend it from the Bible, period. You can't do it. And so now I got everybody scurrying and running for the hills and running for the rocks because you know why? They can't intelligently discuss this. They can't. I don't care if it's Old or New Testament. If y'all believe that Pastor Dow's so wrong, which I don't care, you know, it makes no difference to me. Have your line, well, I'm going to try to be tactful here. Have your leaders who oppose this, see if they'll set up a debate. See if they'll set up a discussion and stuff. And let's let every man be a liar and let y'all be the truth. And let's stop with the Bible says foolish and unlearned questions avoid, for they do gender strife. And so be careful of the cunning, the viciousness of man where they like to twist and warp and distort the scriptures. They like to say, is it his permissive will or is it a perfect will? All to avoid. And even in that, they will even tell you that that's what the men did. Now, to end this video, if polygyny is a sin, then guess what? None of us have salvation. Because that means Abraham died in his sin. So did Jacob, who's the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. Mind you, when you get to the end of the book of Revelation, there are 12 gates to the city that's named after the 12 patriarchs. That means they died in their sin too. That means that Moses died in his sin. That means that Gideon died in his sin, and Elkanah died in his sin, and David died in his sin. If we follow that sentiments of today, and if they all died in their sin, then we don't stand a chance, none of us, because this is an evil, adulterous generation. To where if a woman even if she gets married, you know, women are so damn hypocritical. And I'm gonna say this: it's amazing. A woman will go out here and have sex with anywhere between 10 and 20 men before she gets married. And she expects this man that she finally gets married to after she's done been used up and done had all kind of men inserted in her. All of a sudden, she expects this man to be total monogamous and love her exclusively while she's been out here bedding she's been played the whore. I guess she's sanctified now because she's got a state marriage license. Is that right? You people out of your mind. You people are made. So women been sitting over here practicing serial polygamy. But they want this man to be holy and sanctified, and be totally monogamous to her when she done had all these men inserting themselves into her and putting their DNA into her. No wonder women are so fragmented. And no wonder they so schizophrenic, mind so damn gone today. And I know, believe me, I ain't worried about women anyway in general because I already know I'm pissed them off. But I told the truth though, didn't I? Didn't I tell the truth? You want to go be a whore. And that's exactly what you're doing when you go open up yourself, go out all these stupid frat parties and everything else, and boyfriend gone. We broke up. Another one. We broke up. Another one. And you so damn cheap. A movie and a dinner, and then you end up in bed. And you think you're in any moral position to say something about this. This is just crazy. It's crazy. But, hey, get your leader. Tell him pass down, put out another edict. Say, let's get it on. Let's get it on. You know why? Because I don't do like a lot of people do. When I hear something, let my emotions take over and then speak from emotion. I speak from truth and fact. I was silent 3 to 4 years on this subject because I spent time studying this, and now I know it. I know what the Bible says, not what religion, not what tradition, not what this culture of America says, but I know what this book says. Now we're ready. Let's get it on. So, hey, those out there that, if you are in a polygynous situation, you're welcome in the ministry of Straightway. You sure are. Some of the most beautiful families I ever met. You are. And also, I had an interview with Dr. Gina Murray. If you type in, where's her book at? Do I have a book up here somewhere? I know I got it in his office somewhere. But anyway, Dr. Gina Murray has a book out. And I'll put a plug in for what I'm looking for. I got so many bookshelves in here. But a beautiful interview. I include down here at the bottom right. This is Dr. Gina Murray. Oh, there it is. Here it is right here. You can go on Amazon. You can get this book right here from Dr. Gina Murray. All right? And it says, The Them in Him, Biblical Family Structure, Book 1. I include the link down below, not only to the interview that I had with Dr. Murray, Mother Murray, but I will also include a link at Amazon that if you want to get, first of all, I would suggest that you, number one, listen to the interview first. Listen to the interview first and listen to the spirit of this woman. And mind you, we're talking about an intelligent woman here. She's been living this lifestyle for 25 years. And if you can't discern how righteous and meek and humble and holy, set apart, beautiful her spirit is, you got to ask yourself a question. When listening to her, would you rather have a woman fashioned after this spirit and this mindset, or the women that's been fashioned after religious American spirit and mindset? You be the judge after you listen to this interview, all right? But I would suggest that you actually go and check this book out. I think she's done an excellent job. Matter of fact, we even did the interview. She came to my first debate down there with this pig. But she actually came to the first debate. And she sat there and listened attentively. And she, like because we conducted an interview before the debate actually took place. And one of the things I was looking for, and the one you'll hear it in the interview, we both wanted to hear the arguments against it because we was hoping that we would hear something sound. Really. Against it. Give us something. And we heard nothing. We have yet to be still convinced. Now, mind you, You talking about a man that all I did was preach pretty much. I didn't preach against polygyny, but I said we ain't doing it here. And guess what? You change your mind, I ended up changing mine too. I sure did. After I saw what y'all said, I found out that I was wrong and he's right. So I got to conform. But anyway, I think I said enough. I hope I answered your question. We'll go on from there. Y'all have a wonderful day. King coming.